Man, I don't know about you, but races like the one we just saw leave the entire NASCAR world buzzing for days. Because sometimes it's not just about who wins the race. Sometimes it's about the drama that spills over after the checkered flag. The kind of drama that gets drivers talking, teams frustrated, and fans arguing all week long. And right now, the NASCAR garage is heated. Something happened during Sunday's race at Phoenix that has multiple drivers speaking out, questioning a move that completely changed the outcome of the race and ruined several teams' days. And now people inside the garage are actually asking NASCAR to step in and take a serious look at it. But that's not the only big storyline coming out of Phoenix. Because while all this controversy is exploding inside the garage, the championship picture in the Cup Series just shifted in a really interesting way. And the points battle is starting to take shape much earlier than a lot of people expected this season. So today we've got two major NASCAR stories to break down, one involving a huge controversy that has drivers fired up and another that could quietly shape the championship fight. And trust me, both of them matter a lot for the rest of this season. But before we dive into it, if you're a real NASCAR fan who follows the sport every week, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. NASCAR Track News is a brand new channel, and our first goal is reaching 1,000 subscribers. So if you enjoy honest NASCAR conversations like this, you're in the right place. All right, so let's start with the moment that has the entire NASCAR garage talking right now. The crash at Phoenix Raceway. If you watch the race, you know exactly the moment we're talking about. Things were already getting intense out there. Phoenix is one of those tracks where track position matters a lot. Drivers are fighting for every inch, and patience starts to disappear the deeper you get into a run. And then it happened. Joey Logano made a very aggressive move in traffic, trying to gain position in a tight pack of cars. But the move didn't just affect one driver. It triggered a chain reaction that ended up collecting multiple cars and completely changing the outcome for several teams. Suddenly, what was already a heated race turned into chaos. Several drivers got caught up in the wreck, including Chase Elliott, Daniel Suarez, and Josh Berry, all of whom suffered significant damage to their cars. For those teams, their race was basically ruined in that moment. And when drivers got back to the garage after the race, the frustration started coming out fast. One of the most vocal drivers about the situation was Ross Chastain. Now, if you follow NASCAR closely, you know Ross Chastain is not afraid to speak his mind. And after the race, he made it very clear that he felt the move crossed a line. Chastain said that hard racing is expected in NASCAR, especially at a track like Phoenix, but in his opinion, that move went beyond aggressive and entered the territory of irresponsibility. He said that move put several drivers in a terrible spot and ended up ruining multiple teams' days, and he even suggested that NASCAR should take a serious look at it. And Ross wasn't the only one frustrated. Allmendinger also spoke about the crash after the race, and his criticism focused on something drivers care about a lot: awareness and respect on the track. According to Allmendinger, everyone out there is fighting for position. That's NASCAR. That's normal. But he said there's still supposed to be a level of respect between drivers, especially when the field is packed together in heavy traffic. His point was simple. When you make an aggressive move in that kind of situation, you're putting a lot of cars at risk, not just your own. And clearly that's exactly what happened, because this wasn't a two-car incident. This was the kind of wreck that ripples through the field and leaves multiple teams in the garage shaking their heads. Drivers like Chase Elliott, Daniel Suarez, and Josh Berry all paid the price when their cars were caught in the crash. And inside the garage after the race, several teams were reportedly already asking NASCAR officials to take a closer look at the incident. Now, here's the important part. As of right now, NASCAR has not announced any kind of disciplinary action against Joey Logano. There's been no penalty announced, no ruling yet, but officials did confirm that the crash will be reviewed as part of NASCAR's standard post-race evaluation process. And if you've watched this sport long enough, you know that doesn't always mean a penalty is coming. Sometimes NASCAR reviews these things and ultimately decides it was just aggressive racing. But the reason this story is getting so much attention right now is because of how many drivers were involved and how strongly some of them are reacting. When multiple drivers start publicly calling for NASCAR to review a move, that's when things start getting interesting. And with emotions still running high in the garage, this Phoenix crash is almost guaranteed to be a huge talking point heading into the next NASCAR Cup Series race. Now, while all that drama was happening on the track and in the garage, there's another story that fans should definitely be paying attention to because the NASCAR Cup Series point standings just got updated after the Straight Talk Wireless 500 at Phoenix, and the championship picture is starting to take shape. Even though the race had a lot of chaos, Tyler Reich is still leading the NASCAR Cup Series point standings. Reich finished 8th at Phoenix, which actually snapped his 3-race winning streak. But despite not winning this time, his consistency this season has kept him firmly at the top of the standings with 225 points. And here's the crazy part. He currently has a massive cushion. Reich sits 127 points ahead of 17th place, which shows just how strong his start to the season has been. But the big move in the standings came from the race winner. Ryan Blaney held off Christopher Bell to win the race at Phoenix, and that victory pushed Blaney up to 2nd place in the overall Cup Series standings. Behind him, Bubba Wallace currently sits 3rd in the standings, followed by Chase Elliott in 4th. Shane Van Gisbergen is 5th in the standings right now, which is honestly one of the more interesting storylines of the season so far. Christopher Bell and Joey Logano are both sitting with the same points margin as well, showing just how tight the fight is in that part of the standings. Then you've got Michael MC Dow and Chris Buescher also close in the mix, followed by Kyle Larson inside the top 10. William Byron sits just outside that group, along with Denny Hamlin, AJ Allmendinger, Carson H. Shavar, Ty Gibbs, and Brad Keselowski, rounding out the top 16 positions that currently sit above the playoff cut line. Right now, Daniel Suarez is just outside the cut line at 2 points behind 16th place, which shows how tight the battle already is early in the season. And then the drivers trying to climb their way back toward the playoffs include Ryan Preece, Zane Smith, Kyle Busch, Ty Dillon, John Hunter Nykeck, Ross Chastain, Riley Herbst, Noah Gragson, Todd Guillen, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., the Eric Jones, Austin Dillon, Austin Sinrick, Josh Berry, Cody Ware, Chase Briscoe, Connor Zilisch, Cole Custer, and Alex Bowman further down the standings. Now, the reason this matters is because even though we're still early in the season, points like these start to add up fast. A bad race here, a wreck there, and suddenly drivers find themselves chasing the playoff cut line much earlier than they expected. And when you combine that with controversial moments like the crash at Phoenix, you start to see how quickly a season can change. Because one aggressive move can ruin a race, and one ruined race can shake up the entire points battle. So coming out of Phoenix, NASCAR fans are looking at 2 huge storylines. First, the controversy surrounding the crash involving Joey Logano, a move that several drivers believe crossed the line and that teams now want NASCAR to review closely. And second, the championship picture starting to form with Tyler Reich still leading the standings, Ryan Blaney jumping up after his Phoenix win, and the fight around the playoff cut line already getting tight. And honestly, that's what makes this sport so addictive. Every race changes something. One moment can ignite a rivalry in the garage, and one finish can reshape the championship battle. And with drivers still clearly frustrated after Phoenix, don't be surprised if the tension carries over into the next race. Because when emotions start running high in the NASCAR garage, things can get very interesting very quickly. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think that move at Phoenix crossed the line, or was it just hard NASCAR racing? And looking at the standings right now, do you think Tyler Reich can keep this points lead, or is someone like Ryan Blaney about to take control of this championship fight? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. I always love hearing what other NASCAR fans think about moments like this. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to NASCAR Track News. The channel is brand new, and we're trying to reach our first goal of 1,000 subscribers. So if you're a real NASCAR fan who enjoys honest conversation about the sport, stick around because there's a lot more NASCAR coming here.